Do I go over to surveys next?
Yeah, so we can hop over to surveys. So the way that I see projects, going like stepwise from start to finish is you have your project admin, the one who is initiating the project. Maybe they want to come in and review the requirements that you have, cloned for them into this tool. And then we want to go in and invite those others that are going to be collaborating within this project. From there, you'll want your stakeholders to rank requirements, maybe add some comments. If you do want them to add additional ones or, talk about ones, you can. The use of surveys, I've seen them used a couple of different ways. So surveys can be used maybe first for initial discovery. So if your project admin isn't ready to invite stakeholders in, but they want to gather some more intel before that, you can create a survey, maybe asking some questions of what's your biggest pain point? What would you like to see in an ideal situation with, when this project is done? How much time do you spend on X per week? And use that information maybe to round out the project and then invite stakeholders in. I've also seen them use, I'm just going to create this test one right here so we can go into it. I've seen them also used as you've got your stakeholders that you are working with within the project, but you also want to get some insight maybe from other teammates, other people around the company that you would like their opinion, but you don't necessarily need their work. You can create a survey maybe to rank some requirements, maybe to ask their pain, because your survey respondents are not your stakeholders per se. You're using surveys to gather feedback outside of the stakeholders who are working within the project, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I like to use the surveys. Well, I usually call the surveys like a create your own adventure, because it's really a drag and drop survey builder. So you have, different formatting options, you have different survey question types, and then you have some organizational ones like with dividers. But, the use of the creation of a good survey really is going to be what the survey is, explain or instructions on why or how they should be filling it out, and then go into the questions. So if I say this is a, loyalty rewards discovery survey, oops, I'm going to type it in and I'm going to hit the save button. You have to hit the save button before moving on to the next question or project or question type. So if I want to do a short description of, please answer the following questions to the best of your ability, etc. Then I want to do check button. I don't know. Please check all that apply. Option 1, option 2, etc. Hit save and move on. You can do a divider. So if I want to make it look really pretty, I could put a divider in here, and you're going to, build your survey based on how you want to use it. You can actually have requirements within the survey as well. So if I want to drag over requirements and I want to have everybody answer the requirements, I can, use this bulk one, or I could cherry pick the ones that I want people to rank, move them over, say, please rank the following, hit save. And now I have the 3 requirements that I want my survey respondents to rank.
And
oh, go ahead.
If they, excuse me, if they rank through the survey here, does
Mhm.
it automatically show up in the RFP questionnaire, or how does that work?
It will. So where I showed you how you could add those different users and what their rankings were. Those people who have responded to the survey, and I'll show you like how they're gonna, what the survey looks like. It does capture their first name, last name, and email address. So while they're not a project stakeholder, you are able to add them to that requirements ranking view so you can see side by side. It is actually a good comparison of if you have your stakeholders and you have maybe end users or those other people who aren't collaborating, and maybe what's important to the stakeholders is different than your survey respondents, that maybe some more collaboration or
Yeah,
talking
no,
needs to
it's a
happen.
good way to get internal alignment so that there isn't a lot of work done before you realize that there's not. alignment. Okay,
So once you're done building out the survey, this is where you can invite people to answer it. So I've, created all my questions. I'm going to click on this invite button in the middle. This page that you land on is going to show you initially, what the overview is, like why you're having people filled out. And then if you have chosen the way that you are inviting them to answer it, if you are sending invites out from the platform, you can see how many people you've invited versus how many have completed, and also those people that you've sent it out to. So I'll click on invite respondents, and it's the same 3 ways that you are sending project stakeholder invites to is how you can send the survey to. So copy paste the link, send it via email. If your colleagues are already in here, you can add them that way or add email addresses and send it out from the platform. And this is what the survey would look like. So this is their landing page. This is the only page that they see. They don't have any other view into your project. So it's capturing, first name, last name, title, and email. And then we're getting into the actual questions. So, check all that apply, please rank the following, and then they hit the submit button.
very cool.
Once you have started to invite people and they've, filled it out, this analyze tab is going to show you all of the questions and answers that those respondents have filled out in a more visual view. And if anybody, wants to download survey responses, they've got the ability to via this actions button. It'll download to an Excel file. So I see, to touch on that, like the use of the surveys, I've seen it for gathering initial project discovery, maybe getting some requirements ranking or alignment on requirements and, actual pain points and things like that. And then, post vendor selection and into maybe implementation and beyond. I have seen some customers create a 3rd survey that goes back and maybe re-asks some of those discovery questions of, you said this was your pain point in the beginning. Now that we've implemented vendor X, has this pain been solved? How much time are you now spending on this task, etc.? Basically to, go back and show the ROI and success of the project. And I've seen some questions be answered around like vendor sales process and vendor implementation. If vendors are looking for some feedback too, this could be a good use of the tool post implementation to gather some of that as well.
Okay, so at this point, we've got the questions built, we've got input from all my stakeholders internally, and we are now ready to invite vendors in. Is that right?
Yeah, you are.
Right.
So we've gone through requirements. The next 2 tabs are going to be the ones that are going to be around vendor specifics and sort of like the comparisons.